Life in a trench, I'd like to explain in one word: horrific. It's mud, it's death, it's rats, it's stench, and soldiers develop an attitude in a trench that everybody is going to die.
Life in the trench was abysmal. There were several lines of trenches, and the front line trenches, of course, were the most dangerous because they were constantly under fire. Into me!
The Germans dug assiduously, building dry, safe, and comfortable trenches for themselves with bunkers that actually had electricity and sometimes running water. The British and French, who were convinced that they were never going to be there for that long, didn't spend nearly the same effort. And so their trenches tended to be muddy and wet and not that safe.
Disease ran rampant. It was very difficult to get any sort of sleep, a decent hot meal, keep your clothes dry, and more importantly, to keep your sanity.
There were so many health problems of just simple disease that took much more men out of combat than direct fire.
I think one word that would surprise people about life in a trench: boredom. A lot of time is spent just sitting, cleaning tools, and being scared to death the battle's going to start any minute.
Was just the day-to-day monotony, being trapped in this very small space and fighting for a war that's really fought in inches.
The idea of open warfare, of fighting out into what they called no man's land, wasn't working. The technology of the war had advanced so much with machine guns, artillery that could lob shells a mile. It became mostly a defensive war early on, and as a defensive war, you wanted to protect your troops, so the miles and miles of trenches were built.
There were often bodies buried in the sides of trenches, bodies lying out in the open in front of the trenches. The soldiers were experiencing not only the war that they were fighting at the moment, but the war that had been going on throughout those trenches for all of the years of the war.
A young lieutenant writes his mother and says, "I haven't been killed yet, but it's only a matter of time." That's typical of the way soldiers felt about life in the trench. You just did it. You existed day to day, tried to go on, keep your chin up, but one day the bullet was going to have your name on it, and you were going to perish. You weren't going home.
Ed Lukert was married to Mabel. He served during World War I in the 5th Division of the Allied Expeditionary Forces. His job, censoring mail. Because of this job, he was able to send letters to Mabel and be a little more forthcoming than other soldiers might have been. During one of his letters, he would write to Mabel saying that he had no interest in dying for his country. On June 18, 1918, he would write to Mabel after being gassed during training exercises. And this is what he wrote. Dearest girlie, do you smell gas also? We were all subjected to several different kinds of it today, with and without masks, and as usual, I cannot rid my clothes of the odor. It is sure awful stuff, honey, deadly and usually ensures a slow, horrible death. There is one kind which kills quickly, chlorine, but I do not prefer any kind or brand myself. I'll use the gas mask if possible, with all its discomforts and smell. I had to have a photo taken today for another officer's identification book, which every officer must carry. It provides for a small-size bust without headgear, so when I receive same, I will send you copies. I believe they take the book when your body is found and send the photo to the War Department to be placed on the honor roll. Won't you be proud to have your hubby's picture on a nice magazine page, all fringed with black? Ah, there's no danger, though. You'll have me back soon. The war cannot last forever, you know, and even if it does, I will return to you safe and sound eventually. Unlike the majority of other boys, I am not over here to die for my country. I came over here to live for it. And after I have helped make it possible for others to live in peace and happiness, I'll be back to continue living for you. Then we'll be happier than we would have been had you not sent me over. You know it too. Just like Dan Boone said yesterday, it's a great privilege, gentlemen, truly a great privilege to be able to assist in making the world safe for Democrats. Hurrah for Brian, yes, and all the party. That fellow Boone is a funny duck. You know that, though, without my saying so.